Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw.
And I'm Sean Liang.
And we are joined today by film staff writer for Culture Shocked, Ben Hanig.
Hey, everybody.
Ben Hanig, otherwise known as man who hasn't seen very many movies. Oh, Ben.
Yeah, you guys are writing me into a corner.
I'm opening up your eyes to this whole new world.
I know, right?
It's a new fantastic point of view.
It's crazy.
Oh my God.
I'm with you, Ben. I feel like I haven't seen much of these either, so, you know.
Oh, my God. Today we're going to be talking about GoldenEye from 1995. It is Pierce Brosnan's first James Bond film. But before we get to talking about that film, have you guys been watching anything this week?
Oh, man. No, I think I've actually run myself out of shows, and I've just been keeping up with our stuff on the site. I haven't had really a chance to do much more.
I was going to say, I watched Ex Machina for the site next month. And I also watched, let's see what else. I watched this movie called Wakewood on Hulu, which I thought was actually surprisingly really good. But, yeah, I loved Ex Machina. I'm excited.
I still have not had a chance to see that one.
It's good. It's surprisingly good. I didn't realize, I know we talked about this because I started watching it last week. But it was directed by the guys that did 28 Days Later, and it totally has that that really tense feeling, and it was really cool. I didn't expect it.
I still need to watch it.
I liked it.
I'm going to echo you guys. I haven't watched anything either. I mean, I've been sick. So I actually had an opportunity to watch stuff, but instead of watching stuff, I've been just sleeping.
Yeah, well.
Sleeping and getting better, that's bullshit.
Yeah, right. Why aren't you fucking watching shit, bro?
Yeah, slacker.
Well, man.
Oh my God. If we haven't watched anything, let's talk about GoldenEye. So film was released in 1995, directed by Martin Campbell. Stars Pierce Brosnan, Sean Bean, Isabella Scorupco, and Famke Janssen as Xenia Onatopp. The IMDb synopsis for the film is James Bond teams up with the lone survivor of a destroyed Russian research center to stop the hijacking of a nuclear space weapon by a fellow agent formerly believed to be dead.
When the world is the target.
72 hours ago, a secret weapon system was detonated over Selenaya.
And the threat is real.
GoldenEye exists. A radiation surge that destroys everything with an electronic circuit.
You can still depend on one man.
I want you to find GoldenEye.
3.
Find who took it.
2.
And stop it.
1.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
The world's most famous secret agent is back.
We aim to please.
And this time, 007 is facing the ultimate enemy. The man who knows him best.
Hello, James.
What an unpleasant surprise.
006.
What's the matter? No pithy conduct?
Wow, it just gives away the twist right there in the synopsis. Shit.
It just throws it out there.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, like,
I guess you got to see it
the
coming.
first scene, and then like he's the first billing. You kind of have to know.
Yeah.
At least that was my.
Well, and you've also played the video game, so you know.
I actually only played the multiplayer of that game.
Okay. So, starting with Ben, had you seen this film before, and what are your thoughts?
I had not. As I've said in a couple of my reviews on the site, I really have only seen 3 James Bonds before this, and none of them were the Brosnan ones. So my knowledge were exclusively from just playing games at parties. Coming out of this one, I liked it a lot. I definitely liked it better than the other one I watched this week, The World Is Not Enough. And I feel like GoldenEye had a better sense of pacing, and like the scenes all kind of added together to do something. There wasn't just boat chase for boat chase, like shootout for no reason, but gun. Like everything seemed to kind of serve a purpose in this one, and that's definitely a bonus.
What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I had never seen this one either, and it's funny because I grew up, I'm glad we finally got to a Pierce Brosnan Bond, because I grew up with him as Bond in my mind, and I had seen bits and pieces of some of his other movies because my dad would watch them, but I'd actually never seen GoldenEye, even though I played the multiplayer game like everyone else. It's like just a part of the 90s, and it was really cool to see like scenes or set pieces that were literally in the game. And it's just weird because I come from like this totally opposite, this completely opposite direction. I've played the game and I've seen it from a different perspective before. But I really liked it because it was such a great 90s campy movie. It was very, I loved Natalia's overreactions. I adored it. And even Bond was such it was sort of like the end of the jokey Bond because, Daniel Craig, there's no jokes. Like the jokes are pretty dry. So, I don't know. I thought it was fun his first line is hanging from the vent upside down. That's great. Great visuals in this one.
I really like this movie. I know when we talked about License to Kill last week, I said that was one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite Bonds as well. Just something about this is like encapsulates the 90s in such a great way. But at the same time, it sets a stage for Pierce Brosnan to take over Bond. And, Oscar said last week that this is Pierce Brosnan's best James Bond film. And I would have to agree, which is kind of, disappointing considering how this is his first Bond film. And you could make the case that some of the other ones, Tomorrow Never Dies or World Is Not Enough are better. And I know, Ben, you didn't like World Is Not Enough very much. But I think the villain in this film is great. I think the secondary villains are great. The Bond girl is great. And Pierce Brosnan, while this is his first turn as James Bond, he does a really good job of being James Bond. And normally it takes an actor 1 or 2 films to kind of settle into the role. But I think he does a really good job in this film of settling into it pretty much immediately.
Right, yeah, I know. I definitely agree. I mean, granted, we're probably all in the same boat that we're kind of biased from being 90s kids. That, like Sean says, Pierce was my Bond, even though I never watched him. Like, that was who I pictured. I knew when I was watching The World Is Not Enough that he was not the problem in that movie. And that was kind of the most disappointing part, was because I really wanted to like the movie and I wanted to like him as Bond. So I think this really shows off what he could do and why he was picked for the role. Oddly enough, I was talking about this string of movies with some friends earlier this week, and one of my friends, my old roommate, was like, "Oh, I never got Pierce Brosnan. Like, I didn't think he was handsome enough to be Bond," and I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Right? Like, he's got that smirk and that look that is inviting, and you get why he's engaging to people. So
I mean, I thought he was like the turn of like, we go from like handsome, sexy Bond to like sex Bond. Like that's where we switched this, you know what I mean? Like now
right. That's
what Daniel Craig is now. And I get that now, but I thought that Pierce Brosnan was like the first turn, especially in contemporary handsomeness, I guess.
Yeah. He's no Sean Connery, but I mean, who the hell is?
Right.
Sean Connery.
Yeah, can't match that.
I really like Pierce Brosnan as Bond. Especially in this film, and obviously, like we've said, it might be diminishing returns for some, but his Bond is kind of a mix of everything up until this point. He's got like the swagger of Sean Connery, a little bit of the darkness of Dalton, and then there is the camp in there of Roger Moore, and then the good looks of George Lazenby, the traditional good looks of George Lazenby. Right. And I think they all kind of mesh together in GoldenEye to make Pierce Brosnan as Bond. Because, there's that dark aspect, but it's a pretty light movie, I think. I think it's still a pretty light film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no, Quantum of Solace or anything.
Or License to Kill, where in the first 10 minutes of the movie, a woman is raped and then her husband's leg is eaten off by a shark.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah. Well, let's break the film down a little bit. So, what did you guys think of the pre-credits scene with Bond and Trevelyan, played by the always dead, in some form or fashion, Sean Bean, infiltrating the Archangelisk weapons factory that's supposedly, for some reason, built on a dam? What did you guys think of that pre-credit scene?
Oh man, I loved that. I was sad that was only as long as it was, because it was like I said, that stupid 90s action camp, but still kind of heavy. And of course you start off on the dam and I'm getting N64 time splitters flashbacks. And I'm oh shit, this is where it begins. And I was just ready for it. So
that's so funny. Like you said before, Ben, it's the first time I felt like a bungee jump was an appropriate thing to do. You know what I mean? It wasn't just we need someone to, for example, this isn't what was the Howling 2, what was it? What did we watch? Where they bungee jump off the Eiffel Tower for no good reason?
Oh God. American Werewolf in Paris.
That's right. That's
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one had a good reason, and it felt it felt right, even though it's still ridiculous, but it's just so cool.
Right, and having two agents working together isn't something that seems like the film series does a whole lot. So there was some really nice offplay between 007 and 006, and that was novel, and I wish there was more of that. You know
what cracks me up is that this pre-credit scene takes place in the 80s. Which completely shows that this film is a reboot of the series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because obviously if Bond is Brosnan in the 80s.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Then he's Bond in the 90s, and this is just a reboot, and Timothy Dalton's Bond that ended with License to Kill. Mm-hmm. So I love the pre-credit sequence. It's one of my favorite pre-credit sequences in Bond, in the Bond canon, especially when he drives off the runway and jumps into the plane. That's, oh my God, it's so good.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, right.
It starts the film off right. It starts the film off with that big boisterous opening that has kind of been lacking in some will say the Roger Moore films. License to Kill had a really good one, but A View to a Kill that was pretty lame. Some of the other ones were pretty lame, but this was pretty great. Jumping into a plane, flying. It's great. It's really good.
It just sets everything up. Because you've got these big stupid motorcycle into a plane kind of nonsense, but you've also got we're killing people, this is big spy work. It sets up all the pieces that you kind of need to know about Bond in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And also it sets up what is later revealed to be the big kind of twist in the movie. I guess it's a twist. I wouldn't say it's much of a twist, but
right.
I think in this day and age it's not a twist.
True, yeah.
What did you guys think of the song by Tina Turner that was written by Bono and The Edge?
Right. That was a surprise.
I didn't hear it since like last week, but I'm pretty sure that's the one that I loved. Hold on. Yeah, I love this song.
Yeah, no, it's pretty great. I mean, I don't know. It's not my favorite one they've ever used, but I'm kind of a sucker for, what was the one that McCartney did?
Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die. Or,
yes.
When you get, I'm going to go back to the couple I have seen. When they signed Jack White to work on Quantum of Solace, I like that one too. But this one is, again, very kind of classic in its pomp and circumstance, but it's trying to be sultry, and it's just good.
It kind of harkens back to absolutely.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there were a couple people that were offered the ability to do the song, so they offered it to the Rolling Stones and they turned it down. Then the ever famous band Ace of Base made a version of the song that's actually pretty good, that they ended up just releasing without the title GoldenEye and changed the lyrics. It's actually pretty good. It's called The Juvenile. And then Tina Turner would do this song, obviously. But I think it really does harken back to Goldfinger and Man with the Golden Gun. It feels like a very classic James Bond song.
Mm-hmm.
In a way that you would need if you're essentially rebooting the franchise because it's gotten stale, which is what I feel like this film is a reboot of the series.
It's kind of a soft reboot. I can see that.
Yeah, it naturally feels like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the players in the film. So we've talked already about Pierce Brosnan as Bond. I asked Oscar this last week, Ben, and since you've watched some Bond films and you're a little bit more familiar with Bond this month, who would you say is your favorite Bond and your least favorite Bond? Having seen pretty much all of them, I think, except for George Lazenby.
Right. I haven't seen Lazenby, so I'm pretty revved up to do that once the month wraps up and I can get all the other DVDs from my friend who's loaning them out to me. I think, as far as favorites go, I have to give it to Connery because he just has that perfect mix of everything, and just, I don't know, I like the kind of down to earth classiness that his movies do without getting into being overly gritty like the new ones are. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with the new ones. They're all right, but I think he was the first Bond, and he really sets up everything else that everybody else does. I like that he can be kind of playful without being completely over the top. I mean, Roger Moore is fun, but I think he goes a little too much for the haha pun here, haha one-liner. Oh, look at me do this thing. So, I'm going to give it to Connery. Brosnan at this point might be my lowest, but again, I've only seen 2 movies with him, and one was pretty damn good. The other was okay. And I don't think that either of those were his fault. So, I don't know.
But Connery takes home yours for best of the month.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
And I think Connery, I think Connery's performance really has stood the test of time for a reason.
Right.
If we're still talking about Connery, 60 years later, as the best James Bond, I mean, he must have done something right.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the people that aren't Bond in this film. What did you guys think of Sean Bean, who auditioned to play James Bond in Living Daylights, mind you? What did you guys think of Sean Bean as Alec Trevelyan, 006?
Honestly, I want to start with this one because honestly, I thought he was great, but excuse me, I thought he was great, but he didn't seem to. I don't know. Other than the fact that it was a big betrayal, I felt like he wasn't doing much, I didn't get to do as much until the end, of course, which was I loved the fight scene at the end. That was so epic and so grandiose. But up until that point, all we have is this betrayal that we have against him that we kind of get from the beginning of the movie. But I think he didn't seem to do as much as Orloff or is I even say his name right? Or Onatop. They're the ones who are doing the dirty work and that you get the real action from. So I don't know. I liked him, but it was only for that last scene.
I think I liked him all the way through. I think he was a good fit for being both kind of the best friend and the mastermind villain. I think the twist to his backstory was given out a little too one right after another. Like, we're going to explain this group of people, and then like, oh, guess what? I'm one of those people. Like, right. That was not super great. And I agree, like, his plan is pretty, I mean, as is pointed out by Bond, is kind of freaking stupid. It's just like, I'm going to shut down the banks and make a bunch of money, or whatever. Like, okay, that's okay. But, no, I like him a lot. He definitely chews the scenery and he gravitates all the scenes to himself well. I wish he was just a little more menacing or had a little bit more purpose in whatever his diabolical schemes were, you know, so, but overall, I don't think I gotta lay into him too hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah.
I completely agree. I feel like, you know, in any Bond film, this one notwithstanding, you know, all the Bond villains, their fucking ideas and their plots are so stupid and just like over the top and ridiculous, and you know, you can always just like poke holes in them, right? Pretty easily.
Right.
But, you know, I think outside of kind of the ridiculousness of what he's trying to do, I feel like his performance is pretty great. He doesn't do, like you said, Sean, he doesn't do as much as, you know, maybe Franz Sanchez did last week in License to Kill. And he doesn't, which is kind of a bummer because, I mean, you have an able-bodied actor like Sean Bean who could have been doing all kinds of really, you know, crazy stuff.
Exactly, and I feel like if I were to say to someone Sean Bean's in this movie, they would go see it for him. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of strange that he just. I mean, that, like I said, that last scene is pretty damn epic, but you know, you kind of miss out on it. I don't know if I'd be disappointed. Yeah, maybe I would be a little, to be completely honest. Like, if I was going to see a movie just for this actor, especially because he's a big name, and I know that like people have said that's the one with Sean Bean. It's like I would want to see more. I would want to see him take over, you know, some of his Hitman's work. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's just my preference, also, like out of what I want out of a villain or whatever. But I mean, maybe
he could definitely do more dirty work. And I don't want to say that, like, I think my problem is that his plot is like his big thing is too, like, it's not super grounded.
It's kind of weak.
It's also not like I'm gonna make a space laser out of diamonds and fire it. Like, the way they scripted him was too in the middle. And yeah, I agree. Maybe if he could have like gotten his hands dirty a little earlier, that would have been pretty exciting.
Well, I think that the twist of this movie actually works against the film. By having the big reveal being that Giannis, the main villain in the film, is, you know, Sean Bean, and you don't know that until like halfway through the film.
Right.
And I think that being the case where, you know, you think he dies at the beginning and you see that he dies and obviously he doesn't die, you know, and then it turns out that he's the main villain at the end, you know, I think that it works against the film because you don't get to see him for half the film because they're trying to, you know, convince you that he's not the bad guy or that he's dead.
Exactly. No, that's true. That's totally true.
That's a good point, even though they put his name first in the credits, but...
yeah,
because that threw me off. I was like, oh man, he made it through that one way or another. I was kind of hoping he would get like Winter Soldiered or something, right? Where like it's not just, oh, I have a scar on my face, but like he's like part robot or like just something ridiculous, and then it could be worth him not being there half the time. But
yeah, maybe it was just the reveal that was weak, or that wasn't strong enough for me to make up for it. I don't know, but yeah, it just felt. I mean, he wasn't. I'm not saying he's the worst villain at all. It's just that with a name like Sean Bean, especially at the time, I just would expect to see them in more of the bigger set pieces, you know?
Well, and I think, you know, this is kind of like what happened with License to Kill, you know, last week, where I think it's looking back on the fact that it's Sean Bean, not on the fact that it was Sean Bean of the 90s Sean Bean. This is Sean Bean of, you know, Game of Thrones, Sean Bean now, Boromir, Lord of the Rings Sean Bean. So now he's a big deal. In the 90s, he wasn't like, you know, what he is now. What did you guys think of the Bond girls, played by Isabella Scorupco and Famke Janssen?
I will die for Natalia. She's so funny. I just loved her so much.
Oh yeah, no, she was great, and she was believable and like involved in the plot, as opposed to what's her name, trying to be a Lara Croft knockoff in The World's Not Enough. Like, yeah, no, I was sitting there and seeing her go through things. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is what we do with the new age Bond girl. Like, This is quality stuff. as far as Xenia's concerned, I wasn't a big fan.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
But that was because she was kind of awkward and weird and just, like, too much of a, like, my name is Onatop, ha 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 ha.
Exactly.
Like, sex thing. Shoot people. Like, they really played her off as one note, and it got old pretty quick for me.
I gotta say, I did like the fact that she was some sick psychopath as well. Like, she was definitely, whenever she was like, she liked to be hurt, like there's some sadomasochism going on with her. I thought that was pretty funny and enjoyable, and I'm sure for some guys, they would love that. She seems to be a hot pick, if that's what they call them these days.
Sure. If that's what you call them, sure.
I like Natalia a lot. I think that she's kind of up there with Pam Bouvier from License to Kill for Bond girls. She can kind of hold her own against Bond, and she calls him out on his bullshit like a number of times, which is really good to see that a Bond girl isn't just complacent like they were in the 50s or the 60s and 70s. Yeah. But I'm with Ben. I feel like Xenia Onatop is just such a wasted opportunity. And she does exist for that name chuckle alone, as opposed to actually bringing something interesting to the plot.
And the way she kills people, it's just clearly a joke, you know?
Yeah, right? Like, she squeezes them to death during sex. Ha, ha, ha.
How useful is that? Like, they show that off, like, she goes for it once on Bond, and it's like, oh, well, nice try, though. Now you're screwed.
Yeah.
I'll give you, Sean, I like that she was just kind of, like, psychotic and crazy. I think that's an interesting twist to a henchman that's just like, no, I'm some crazy chick that just likes murdering people in funny, weird ways. That's my thing. But other than that, kind of replaceable.
Yeah, and that's my kind of main issue, is that she doesn't do enough to matter in the kind of grand scheme of the film.
Yeah.
And I don't see why she would be brought in by this guy, Like,
I guess because she could infiltrate places that he couldn't. I mean, that's the thing. It's just she's, like, practically useless in the film. She doesn't even do much of anything other than secure the helicopter at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
I mean, she shoots people and stuff. And I have to show her boobies, but yeah. Other than that, she turned the key. She turned that key the first time.
Right. What did you guys think of Gottfried John as Oromov, General Oromov?
It was scary.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, that first, when they massacred that base, like, I mean, that was pretty intense. I thought I was like, cool. I was like, okay, I get it. Like, that's frightening. But again, like, he's just another filler until we get to Sean Bean, to me.
I think I like him more than that.
I like him more than Onatop for sure, but
I think he does his job well enough, but maybe I just missed something, but I wasn't really sure why he was following Bean, like what his motivation was to being like second banana, when he clearly was pretty skilled at like both manipulating the other like Russian hierarchs and just flat out killing people. Like, why isn't he masterminding himself?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Oromov as a character is just another kind of blank slate that doesn't really go anywhere. Yeah. And you're just kind of like, I don't know why he's with Sean Bean, because like he doesn't really need him. Because he's clearly like a competent soldier on his own.
Yeah.
So why would he need to be taking orders from, a turned MI6 agent?
Money? Yeah.
Money.
Because he's old? I don't know.
Right. They don't even offer an explanation, so.
Yeah.
But before we talk about some of Bond's pals in the film, the other kind of villain, and I would say he's a villain, I guess. Alan Cumming as Boris.
Oh my god. I mean, yeah, exactly.
he also doesn't do a whole lot more than like haha butt joke and like I'm crazy 90s hacker, but he just does it so well, man.
Yeah, when you see Alan Cumming, you know the kind of character. It's going to just be some ridiculously very character. And I think that's the best way. I mean, because he's like the best comedic relief in this movie. Like he's
right.
just campy enough. He's just villainous enough. He looks like a cartoon character. I mean, it's great.
And I actually love that they made him a villain. Like, yeah. I was so down on the, like, him and Natalia, like, teaming up and then being a thing. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe not.
Right, right.
That's actually pretty brilliant. Like, I'll run with that. That's cool.
Yeah, I like that twist. I liked that twist a lot. That little betrayal.
Well, and I feel like they needed a lighter villain in this film than just, Trevelyan and Onatopp and Armov. They needed something to kind of bring a little bit of lightness to the film. And I think that he does a pretty good job of that. Yeah. And then he always, I am invincible, and, he doesn't, it's, that's one of the more memorable parts of the film for most people. So, what did you guys think of Judi Dench as M? Obviously, this is the first time a woman would play the role of M in the history of Bond films, which was kind of it was a big deal when they announced that she was going to be playing M in the film. What did you guys think of her?
Again, what do you say? It's Judi Dench, man. She's awesome. She continues to be awesome, and you see why she was. And the fact that she's in one of her first scenes able to call out Bond and be like, "You are a dated dinosaur masochist pig, and I'm here to keep you in line." It's like, yes, you are. Yes. I don't know. I love her. It's great.
Yeah, I think she's a great addition. I think that it's funny because I noticed that this was the first time it would be a woman playing M. And I was so glad, obviously, that it was her. She was amazing. The way, like you said, that whole little argument that they go back and forth, that speech she gives him, it's just so beautiful. That the way she words it, she just puts him right in place in the sense that it kind of makes us all trust her. You know what I mean? And the way her character develops throughout from there on out, I really love. I've grown to really love Judi Dench as M.
And I think it was important for kind of the longevity of the series to introduce a female authority figure for Bond.
Exactly.
And obviously, I mean, now, in Spectre, she's gone because she dies in Skyfall. But they've gone back to a male character as the authority figure, which it could work. It's Ralph Fiennes, but I think that the kind of the back and forth between a female authority figure and Bond was always way more interesting than his back and forth with a male authority figure.
Right. Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, there was like some interesting things in the original ones, but it kind of came down to kind of just a Mad Men style, like men's club.
Exactly.
Thing. And I think that she added a nice dynamic. And now I'm sad because I forgot that she actually died in Skyfall, and I haven't seen Spectre. So that's more disappointment.
Well, if you watch Spectre, you're going to be disappointed one way or another. So
I'm hearing, and I'm already crying for myself a little bit, but we'll get there in time.
Yeah.
I think there's something to say though about how, just as much as Bond evolves, so do his counterparts, and I think that it was so important at the time because even Moneypenny has even a little bit more of a stern. The exchange between the two of them in the beginning of this movie, I thought was really interesting. Like, it's the first time she kind of says, like, sooner or later you're going to have to act on these innuendos that you're throwing at me. She's a really interesting character. I really like the relationship between him and Moneypenny, and now with M. Because you have to have, especially with the times changing, you have to have that female pushback, and I think that it's made the Bond such a much more complex character, and that's why he's changed so much. And I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool to see that dynamic.
Yeah, and Samantha Bond as Miss Moneypenny, I think she's one of the better parts of the film in regards to kind of the people that play off of Bond, because, like you said, there is that pushback.
Yeah.
But I think for me, personally, the character that sticks out to me as my favorite kind of person that's associated with Bond in the film is Robbie Coltrane as Valentin Zukovsky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, on top of the fact that I'm not a huge fan of Harry Potter, but I always liked the character of Hagrid. Robbie Coltrane, I mean, in this movie, he gives Bond a run for his money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely, like, I really wanted to like him in The World Is Not Enough, so when they're having this, like, back and forth, I'm like, okay, so when I go back, like, there's going to be a reason that I actually am enjoying this character. And seeing him set up here, it's like, oh, well, there you go. Like, this is so great. Because he's sort of a battle of wits, but he's also not quite at Bond level. And I think that's just really funny and entertaining to watch him, like, try and keep up, but only just.
Yeah, exactly. Only just.
So, what did you guys think of, I guess we've talked about this already a little bit and chided it a little bit, Sean Bean's master plan to use a EMP satellite to knock out the banks in Britain and then steal all the money, including all the criminal records and everything else, like he points out in the film.
Why? Like, that's some Keystone Cops bullshit. Like,
yeah,
I wanted him to do something big and nonsense. And when he's got this, like, backstory that, like, not only was I betrayed by Bond, but I was betrayed by, like, both my home country and what I hoped to be, like, the country that would save me. Like, I was hoping he was going to do some big, like, okay, not quite to the level that they go with Skyfall and Revenge, but, like, something like that, where he's like, no, I'm taking down England. Like, shit's going down. Not just like, I'm just going to take some money and clear my name. Like, oh, he had so much more potential to do something awesome. Or just fucking ridiculous and dumb and hilarious.
Well, the crazy thing to me is that with a pulse like that, it's literally something that they say in the movie that could totally wipe out civilization. Like, it would. Like, so it's like, right. To me, what do you want money for? Like, you want revenge. Like, that's really what we want. And why are we like, it's almost some, because like you said, they kind of it's not shoehorned, but we find out like sort towards like the, very end, or I guess we don't find it, but it's like, it's made clear that, he's got this vengeance that could have been so much more propelling than stealing money for a post-apocalyptic world.
That was literally his introduction when he comes back from the dead and he explains like, oh, this is who I am. Like, this is what my parents were.
Yeah.
And then they tell you what his master plan is. Yeah. Right. He totally could have just been like, I'm just going to, like, knock out all the electricity in the world. Like, suck to suck, bitches. I'm going to be technocrat.
I'm brooding about it, so.
Right.
But no, it's just to get some cash on the side.
I actually really agree. As much as I like this film, I feel like Trevelyan's plot for mass destruction is just so wonky and it would have been interesting if the laser GoldenEye had been like a laser that could destroy stuff. Instead, it's just like an EMP, so it's so kind of just It falls so flat in comparison to the rest of the film.
I mean, the GoldenEye is still a spectacular weapon, but he's using it for such a limp, reason. Like, he's putting it to almost literally its least amount of work, right? Outside of, I need to wipe my ex-girlfriend's phone so she stops texting me. How much lower could he go?
No, I completely agree. It just doesn't fit with the rest of the film's tone and kind of the grandiose nature of the film to have him just be like, I want to steal money. And like you said, Bond calls him on it towards the end of the film. He's like, you're just a common thug, dude. Like, you're just a common criminal. Speaking of the end of the film, what did you guys think of the big climactic set piece on the giant satellite dish?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, like I said, it definitely builds up to that moment, and it definitely is a great payoff. Especially because I'm terrified of heights. I thought that whole, those last few minutes were quite tense. I was sweating.
I was gonna say, there's a good back and forth in the fight, right? Bean's got him on the edge and is gonna stomp him off, but then he falls and is hanging on to Bond, and there's just it wasn't some crazy raid level choreography, but it was sound. It was exciting.
Well, and there's also, a fair amount of suspense and tension with the fact that they're hanging on the giant, center of this satellite dish. I mean, that adds the tension pretty much there, is that, one of the characters could go plummeting to their death immediately.
Yeah.
Which I think works really well for the end of the film, and it's kind of disappointing considering how the reason that they're fighting there is so kind of
Yeah, exactly.
But, there are a lot of other really great set pieces in the film, like the chase through Moscow with the tanks.
Yep.
The initial chase scene between Bond and Onatopp in the cars is also pretty great.
Yeah.
I think, this film has a lot of really good action set pieces, too.
Absolutely. I think even the fight choreography, like I said before, when he dives head first down the stairs, I thought that was really cool. But this movie sort of in revamping the series, it definitely brings it into the modern action film, where there's a lot of big set pieces and a lot of fighting.
Yeah. And I think it does it in the right way.
Yeah.
Which I think I said already just on this podcast, but, all the set pieces kind of add to each other and you see why he's doing that. There's not cause I remember when I booted up The World Is Not Enough and its opening scene with the water chase, and I was just watching it why? This is clearly just happening because that somebody in the room was hey, wouldn't it be cool if they chased each other through the bay in speeder boats? Wouldn't that be great? And that was it. Whereas each of these, it was we got to get away from this mission, or the initial car race was just kind of showing them, just kind of matching each other, and also him trying to rile Moneypenny up. So they all served a purpose, and that's the most important thing I think in a fight scene, in an action scene, because it's so easy to write just something that's exciting and cool to watch, but if it doesn't have substance, then what good really is it?
Yeah.
Unless your entire point of the movie is just things exploding, explosions, and then
Michael Bay.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I feel like everything in this film really does serve a purpose, even if the kind of even if some of the stuff really is lackluster, like the plot of the film.
Yeah.
We can't all be winners.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Starting with Ben, skip it or watch it, and best performance.
I definitely say watch it. I know when I was talking about it, I had a lot of friends that were oh, you're not going to like it that much. You're just looking at it through the video game, through rose-tinted eyes. But it actually is pretty good. I really like GoldenEye. I had misplaced my hopes in Brosnan, and now I'm excited to see the other ones I haven't and see kind of where everything stacks between them. So
don't get excited for Die Another Day. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Just don't.
That's sad. But I'm putting myself at that level where it's okay, they might not be great, but hopefully they'll be within a range of GoldenEye. Probably not as good, but if it's at least half as good, I don't feel bad for watching The World Is Enough, but I just hope the other ones are kind of more in the middle there. Best out of everybody in this one, I'll give it to Skrupko for Natalia. I don't think she was necessarily the best thing in the movie, but I think she was the most novel, and she did her part well. And like you said, she was a Bond girl that was willing to call him on his shit. So she transcended what that role could have been. So as much as I like Judi Dench's M, I think she was written to be just awesome, and it would have been great either way.
What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I think definitely if you've lived through the 90s, you definitely have to watch this movie. It's definitely a staple of that time. And I'm like I said, Pierce Brosnan it will always be Bond to me in my mind, just because that's what I grew up with. So it's full of nostalgia. And it's definitely worth it. It's a fun, entertaining movie, even if its plot is a little weak and shaky. It's definitely fun to watch. As for my favorite performance, I was totally going to give that to Skrupko as well. I loved Natalia so much in this movie, just the over the top. I mean, she adds to the camp too in such a great way, in such a seamless way. But I won't even say Judi Dench from here on out because she's going to be one of my favorites. But I gotta say that Miss Moneypenny stood out to me in a really special way this time, and Samantha Bond was great. So even if it was a small part, I loved her, and I will give her best performance in this movie.
For me, it's a definite watch. Obviously, this is one of my favorite Bond films. I watch it probably once a year. Without prompting, without having to watch all the James Bond films in 1 month. But it's definitely just one of those films that I always just come back to. I mean, everything about it is so iconic. the beginning. The music is just so great too, on top of everything else.
Yeah.
It's so minimalist in like the best way. And then, you have Pierce Brosnan as Bond. So, for me, it's a total watch, and best performance. Since everyone else kind of skipped over it, I'm going to have to give it to Sean Bean as Trevelyan. I still think he's a cool villain, even if he doesn't get the screen time that he deserves. And that's totally the case. He doesn't. And that's just the way the film is set up, unfortunately. It's a total watch, and Sean Bean. What did you guys think the score is on Rotten Tomatoes for the film?
Oh, this is critics, right?
Yeah.
Oh, critics, not user?
Yeah, critics, not user.
Okay, I said if user, I'd vote it way higher. 70.
I'm going to say 58.
78%.
Ooh.
The first and best Pierce Brosnan Bond film, GoldenEye brings the series into a more modern context, and the result is a 007 entry that's high-tech, action-packed, and urbane. Look at that, urbane. Urbane, look at that. Yeah, he doesn't have all the he has wacky gadgets in this movie, but they're not as wacky, so...
Yeah, I was going to point that out. Like, at first I was a little turned off by, the repelling gun and the bomb in the pen, but... He's done worse a lot later, so, all in all, tech didn't bother me.
What do you guys think the audience review score is?
I'd shoot an 85.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be higher than what I thought the critics was. So I'm going to say, let me say 74.
70, actually, hold on. 83% out of 284,000 reviews.
Oh, man.
Dang.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I would think that people would think of this movie fondly.
Right?
Well, yeah, and especially our generation.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, our generation for sure.
Because we all own the N64 game.
Yeah, right. We all played it on N64.
Yeah, we've all lost friendships over that game.
Right. Before I talk about this Thursday's final podcast of James Bond January, Sean and Ben, is there anything you guys want to plug?
I'd say nothing for me, just as usual, Seanifer on Twitter and Sean Liang on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to plug. I've got one more this Friday coming out, but other than that, no. And I don't have Twitter, so I can't even do that.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Kulturestash, and if you like what you're hearing now, we have a whole boatload of podcasts over at cultureshock.com, along with written movie reviews, video game reviews, and a little bit of wrestling as well. This Thursday, we're going to be joined by Mike White from the Projection Booth podcast to talk Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, the final two films of James Bond January, and the first two Daniel Craig James Bond films. Big thanks to you, Ben, for sitting down and talking GoldenEye with us, opening your eyes up to some good Pierce Brosnan Bond films.
Some gold, if you will.
Pure gold, yeah.